Hello, this is Frank with our missions report. As you know, in the digest, my report will start on page 24, but I also want to point out that this picture here has some significance. This is a picture of my great-great-grandfather, Elijah Webster, with his congregation at the first established church in Oklahoma. He came in from Ohio with the Oklahoma Land Rush and established this church, and then they built this sod-walled church. We've had this picture in our family for, well, ever since that took place. In fact, this picture was in my 8th grade Oklahoma history class, so in the class book. That's kind of cool. Thought it was fitting for missions report. We want to start off by saying thank you. We are so appreciative of the many churches, individuals, groups, ladies groups that give to missions. We cannot do this without you. We absolutely believe in our motto that together we reach out farther. And I want to just take a brief time today to share with you how that has happened. Now, to start off with numbers, 2019 was a down year. However, a down year means we only raised a little over $500,000. That's cool. That a down year is still over $500,000. Can we do better? Well, we certainly hope so, and we have. We hope to do some things better in 2020. But instead of just looking at what's wrong, let's take a look at what we can do right. What can we do to improve? We did have our first Show Me Share Sunday in January, which did increase our monthly supporters for the Show Me plan, and we're tickled about that, and we're going to put more effort into that as we go through 2020, looking into 21 and into the future. But let me give you some tidbits on our church planters. The Baileys in Japan, Tokyo, they see increased interest in the gospel. Their Mommy and Me classes are doing wonderful. If you see them on Facebook, you know they're just doing great. They've had as many as 30 be a part of that group and hearing the gospel, as well as helping their children get ready for kindergarten. It is tremendous ministry. Donnie and Ruth McDonald, they had hoped for a building purchase in 2019, but that didn't happen for more than one reason. But they now are continuing to reach out in their area of Tokyo, connecting with people, doing their gospel choir, which goes over well in their part of Tokyo. Matthew and Brooke Turnbow. Matthew has had a tremendous ministry in the last couple of years. The church has increased from around 25 to 70, last I heard from Matthew. A lot of people getting involved, a lot of young couples getting involved, so we're tickled about what's happened there in Villalba, Spain. Josh and Lydia Provo, they started several new Bible studies in 2019, connected with some new villages in 2019. The Ozark Church sent a team, and they revitalized 2 different parks in Bulgaria outside of Shumen. Debbie and I and another group from Greensburg came together and revitalized a park outside of Shumen as well. So they've had a lot of influence, a lot of work take place with Operation Christmas Child that they do every year, and a lot of ministries taking place. They also have Sevdi, who is now preaching, who is a local man, Bulgarian, grew up in Shumen, and we're tickled about that. Then also, as you've heard, the Driscolls, Brenton and Debbie, have joined them, and they're on their way to Bulgaria just as soon as they can catch a plane and head that way. They're going to be a help to Team Shumen. We have to explain a little bit there. The Provos and Driscolls did ask us to reclassify the Show Me designation from Provos to Team Shumen. Because of the Driscolls growing up in the mission field, Debbie in Bulgaria and Brenton in Japan, they had very few connections in Free Will Baptist in the United States. After much discussion with the mission board, we were very sympathetic to the cause there, and we did agree to change that to Team Shumen rather than just Provo. Now, this doesn't change any allotment on the Show Me plan. It just will allow the Provos to share their fundraising capabilities with the Driscolls. So the part that goes to Provos will still go Provo, but it'll be tagged Team Shumen, and therefore it can be shared with the Driscolls. Nationally, we have Steve and Amanda Schmidt in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Of course, the pandemic put off their launch that they had scheduled for Easter of 20. but they're still doing a lot of video connections, connecting with people. Albuquerque is one of those areas that they're just hypersensitive to this COVID-19 thing, so it's going to be a longer recovery in Albuquerque than in most places. But again, they're doing a lot to connect with people and looking forward to a launch later this year. The Garretts in Champaign, Illinois also have a vision for the church there. They're looking at, they haven't decided as of yet, but they're looking at renting a building rather than using the movie theater, which they're currently doing. So as their start back process is looking like the potential of having their own building that they're renting, which would be good. Steve Schmidt also did that in Albuquerque. Instead of working at the school, he has rented a building there. Right now, places are looking for people to rent where businesses have closed. Darren and Joy Alice, however, are not renting. They have bought, and they have moved to a different facility there in Erie, which I'm very excited about. They needed a different building. And so they are in the midst of remodeling and revamping and planning their reopening process in the new facility. So we're tickled about that. Also, through our national aspect of the Show Me Plan, we endorse, National Missions endorses, and we promote two from Missouri in our chaplains, military chaplains. That, of course, is Major Kevin Trimble and Captain David Dodson. Captain Trimble is in Poland and has been for quite a while, doing some training there. Captain Dodson just got back from a tour overseas. I'm not sure if I can say where, so I won't, but we're tickled with what both these guys are doing and what they have done, not only for our country, but for the spiritual welfare of our men and women in uniform. State-wise, man, I am so proud of our guys. They have handled this 2020 pandemic so well. They've just been very active, not just on Sunday mornings, not just adapting to that, but they have continued their connection, their discipleship, their Bible studies through video, and just really been out there. Even made a few new connections, I hear, in at least some of our projects. If I don't point out specific things, just know that I am very proud of all of our state projects and endeavors are taking place. Cape Girardeau is in a phase-out process. We started that this year in 20. We don't know what 21 is going to look at yet, but they have been doing a great job in this phase-out process, at least partial phase-out process during 20. In fact, I'll say more about that when we get to the numbers, about how they've helped us. Osage Beach is doing well, got a good core group there, loving what that church is shaping up to be. And then Rolla. You've heard a lot of stories about Rolla, how they're reaching the internationals. I've told the story everywhere that I've been about Henry, the Chinese man that came to know the Lord in our church in Rolla. I'm just so tickled about that, as well as the many others that have connected with the Mosaic Church there in Rolla. Our teams are just doing a great, great job. And I'm looking forward to how God uses them in the future. Now, when it comes to the Show Me Plan in 21, as you see there, I've already explained some of it with Team Schumann aspect. There's one other aspect there that we're recommending when we go to Show Me Plan 21, and that is the addition of Adam and Carol Duncan, who have been approved by International Missions to go to Ecuador. So we would like to include them starting in January of 21 on the Show Me Plan. You'll need to approve that at the end of my report if you so choose to. And then as you see there on the page 24, 25 of the report, the rest of the Show Me Plans, which are pretty typical of every year. Also want to say that our mission board has engaged in its first church health advising role. We want to say thank you to Jacob Jones and him letting us get our feet wet in this endeavor and going into a church and just sharing our principles in church planting. What it is we try to accomplish, what it is we try to do, what are our goals, what are our first step goals, our second step goals, our end goals in those aspects, and tying them into the process of an established church. Sometimes they're easy to do, sometimes they're not, but we're not looking to completely change a church. My motto in going into this is to help you take one step closer to better church health. If we can help you take one step closer to better church health, I see that as a win. And then maybe we can come back later and help you take another one. That's completely up to you. We want to say thank you to all those mission conferences and mission revivals, and the different groups and efforts and shoots, the skeet shoots, the golf tournaments that have taken place to help our missionaries. We love doing that. We love being a part of that, and so we thank you. Thank you to State Women's Ministries, who we've partnered with recently. They have a retreat coming up. Leanne will tell you more about that. You'll see it on Facebook, see it on my page, see it on her page. But they're continuing to do pretty much business as usual, even though we have partnered with them in this ministry. We feel like that our board is loving what we do. We're looking forward to what God will do in the future, and we want to thank you as we partner together, because together we do reach out further. Now for the numbers. As you can see, starting on page 27, there you see our income and disbursements in our general fund. I'll just go over it and you can ask questions when the report's over. But we started with $77,000. We took in $328,000, and then we spent $322,000 in the various areas that are listed there. And we ended the year with a little over $83,000. The next page on 28 is our Show Me plan. Every month starts with 0, every month ends with 0. Whatever we take in a month, we send out. So and you see what that total was for 2019 and how it was dispersed there. Then we have on the next page, page 31, you have our balance sheet. Well, I think I missed, look at page 29. Page 29 is our statement of cash receipts for their foundation accounts, and those are our different accounts there. Future State Project, that's money we save back for a restart or a church plant to help them get started. National Project, same thing, help them wherever they need help that their budgets don't cover. We have a general fund surplus we keep there for savings for things like this COVID thing. That's what we save back for emergencies. A perpetual loan fund balance, and of course our debt, project debt fund. If you would like to see our projects in without a debt, that's what you give to. Rolla has debt, Osage Beach has debt, Cape Girardeau does not. In the future, I suspect we'll have others that will have some debt. We see that as cheaper than rent overall, then they have something when they're done. So if you'd like to help with that debt fund, that's what you designate to. On the next page, on page 30, you got our perpetual loan fund. That's local. That's what we have in our local checking account. We started with 11.7 there, and you see the ins and outs of that fund. And then we ended with a little over, well, almost $34,000. Then, now let's get to the balance sheet. The balance sheet there, that's all of our available cash there in that first section of your cash assets, and all of our foundation funds and our local funds, bringing that to a total of cash available to over $725,000 as of the end of 19. Then we have money that we've loaned out for various things, church plants as well as other churches that have asked us to help them out, and we have done. We don't do that for every church in every situation, but these we have, and that's over $500,000. So we've got over $500,000 loaned out in those areas, giving us a total of available cash of $1.2 million. The end of that page, of course, is the properties that have our name on their property as legal owners. As I said before, I don't see us as the actual owners, but our name is on there, and you need to know about it. And all of these properties, as you can see, are not upside down in value. They have good equity built up in them. And then the last page, page 32, is our proposed 21 mission office budget. It's pretty general as past years. A lot of this changes because we do hires and phase outs and things, so I can't say that we always stick to the budget. This is what we're proposing for 21, should you agree to allow it. So, Brother Moderator, there's my report, and thanks for letting me do it this way.